So I have been delaying this video for a long time. I said I was going to do this when I hit 200 subs but I really love romance anime, no pun intended. It actually saved my interest in anime. I was growing tired of shonen and the stereotypical stuff. I told myself I would never give romance a chance, but I'm glad I did. Enough of the intro, I know what you're here for. So how this list is gonna work, let's just say this. It is my opinion, so this list isn't saying my list is better than anyone else's. It's just my personal taste. I am going to rank the ones that I have finished, or at least some that I've seen more than one season and has more than 12 episodes. So I'm going to give a few honorable mentions without going too deep into them. I'm sure you guys have heard of these. Toradora, teen romantic comedy, and the Monogatari series. I'll go a little depth into that because I feel like I have to. The only reason it's not on this list is because I feel like it's too complex to be on this list. Okay, so at number 10, I have Nisekoi. It is a recent anime of mine that I have really enjoyed. It's about a high school boy named Raku, who is the son of a Yakuza family, who has to become the boyfriend of Chitoge, a daughter of a gangster family. They really hate each other in the beginning, and they do for most of the show. Raku got a locket with a keyhole when he was a kid from his crush, but he doesn't particularly remember anything about this crush that he had. So he has been kind of waiting all this time, hoping to find her. All the girls in this show are super likable, by the way. People always say it's Onodera or it's Chitoge who is the best girl, but how about neither? It's Tachibana, brother. At number 9, we have bottom tier character Tomozaki. I may say this a lot, but I like the premise of this show. Tomozaki is one of the best gamers in Japan, and in his opinion, the game of real life is one of the worst. But then he meets a gamer who's just as good as him, and she offers to teach him a few exploits for life. The development that Tomozaki goes through in this is incredible. Also, the female characters are top notch. Even the male characters, which is rare. In romance shows, they have one or two good main characters that are males, but alright, so number 8, we have Komi Can't Communicate. Komi used to be way higher for me, but I started to watch more anime. It's about Shoko Komi, a girl in high school whose goal is to make 100 friends. Her first friend is the secondary main character and love interest Tadano. He vows to help her make her goal. It is definitely one of the funniest shows on this list, although it is meant to be comedy. I really like the fact that she has extreme social anxiety. They show it in a bit of an exaggerated style, but I love it nonetheless. It shows that many people have this problem, including me. Number 7, I have Urusei Yatsura. It's one of the most recent anime that I've seen, so it can definitely be recency bias on this. It's a remake of the anime that released in the 80s. This was my first experience with it. It to me does a good job of capturing that classic feel. Loom and Ataru are some of the best MCs in romance anime just by how they flow off of each other and how funny they are. Their dynamic, if I were to describe one, is like Panini and Chowder. I love that cartoon, man. So Loom really loves Ataru and does a lot of things for him, and he tries to not pay attention to her, but he actually does love her deep down. He tries to flirt with a lot of other girls, and he is a womanizer most of the time, but like I said, he really does care for her, and I really am loving the show right now. Okay, so number 6. Once again, people, this is not what I think is best. Particularly, it's my favorites, so I have Horimiya. I know people probably clicked off right here, but listen, I'm gonna praise it. Horimiya is probably the most realistic romance anime in the way that they depict their relationships, and this may be one of the best couples that I've seen in anime history, honestly. They are perfect for each other. I also haven't really talked about this really for any other anime on this list, but man, the characters are so well done. I've seen manga pictures side by side with the anime, and it looks like I'm watching the anime, bro. They did an amazing job with this series, and I really loved it. But at number 5, I have The Dangers in My Heart. It's a new buzzing series. Do I have to say much about it, really? The relationship with Yamada and Ichikawa is just beautiful to see how everything plays out. Also, the development Ichikawa has, it's something to me, bro. Him being shy and reserved, not having any confidence, to improving on all of these problems he had is just great. Season 2, episodes 1 through 13 was pure perfection. There was nothing I think they could have done better. I had no problems with it at all. I'm desperately waiting for the next season. It can possibly go up more depending on the rest of the series. And I never do this, but season 2 got a perfect rating out of me on any list. Okay, number 4 is a series everyone is familiar with, the Quintessential Quintuplets. I have a huge soft spot for this show. I know people didn't like who he ended up with at the end. I didn't particularly love it either, but getting to that point was just a fun ride. This was the first quote-unquote harem show that I actually thought was good. In this show, you had 5 very likable female characters who all had amazing designs. Well, I guess they would, considering as to how they are identical. The story isn't really supposed to be too complex, it's just fun, and the suspense, wondering as to who Futuro was going to end up with, adds something to the show. I couldn't imagine waiting years upon years to see who he was going to pick, and God, I binged this show this year. Alright, so now I think I'm going to start pissing people off. This one, I'm a bit nervous to say. It can very well be recency bias. I'm pretty sure because I finished this like a few weeks ago, but hear me out. You may have heard of it, you may have not. Number 3, I have Yamada-kun and the 7 Witches. Ryu Yamada is a second-year student at Suzaku High. He is always late for class, and he naps in class, and he also gets abysmal grades. But Urara Shiraishi, on the other hand, is Suzaku High's brightest student, and on one day, without explanation, their bodies are swapped. Ryu ends up in Urara's body and Urara in his. It only has 12 episodes, and I have yet to read the manga, but the anime ended perfectly. I love all the characters, and I am a huge magic guy for animes. I absolutely love Yamada and Shiraishi together. From episode 1, you already knew that it had to be them together, and nobody else had a chance. And lastly, this anime has an amazing opening, and it is probably my top 10 openings of all time. Okay, number 2, I have Tonikawa. This series has absolutely won me over. I have binged it all in a matter of days. Nasa and Tsukasa are probably my favorite anime couple at this point. The series starts off with a bang. Tsukasa saves Nasa from getting run over completely by a truck. He falls in love at first sight with her and asks her to be his girlfriend. She says she will do it, but only if he agrees to marry her, and he accepts pretty quickly. This series was very, very fun to watch. This show also has a top 10 opening, by the way. Lastly, at number 1, I have Bunny Girl Senpai. I kind of feel bad for having it on this list, honestly, because it isn't really fair. Most romance anime don't really have the depth that this show does. It completely shattered my expectations, and this made me tear up multiple times. It takes a lot for an anime to do that to me. The name of the show and the graphic for it really turned me off at first. I thought it looked really bad. This is when I was a big shonen head, so I was just thinking, how is this show so popular? But it's phenomenal. The main cast is amazing, the side characters too, and I love Sakura. It is really rare when there is a male protagonist in an anime that I just really like. He and Mai's relationship also is just a sight to behold. One of my favorite anime couples of all time. Okay, so that's the list, and I thank you guys for subscribing, and I plan to do this a lot more in the future. I enjoy doing these lists. Let me know your favorite romance animes and if they were in your list or not down below, and I will catch you next time.